So comms is coming to a wedge in a way at the moment, isn't it, with that trend line and that price level, and it's just broken out. So would that be a good indication to stay long?
For now, I took some off in this red bar here, but I'm still sitting with a sizable position long. And if it
Yeah,
breaks,
I've only got one share.
if it breaks that level, it can go a little higher. I've been pretty much away from trading futures for a while until I figure out I want to make sure I'm exactly apprised to using TradeStation to trade futures instead. And until then, I'm still gonna trade so I can still keep the bills paid. So like stuff like this and debit spreads and pretty much anything that has good price action that I know I can trade and trade confidently, I'll continue trading it. I mean, there's not many people I know of who would be willing to swing trade an overnight position on something like this. That is risky as all hell. But when you do it right and you got the right price action and that confidence in that, that's where you can make that decision. Would anybody else hold this for more than a few minutes? Probably not. That's what creates this price action. But when you find a true pattern that means something to you, you can trade it. So here was our descending channel, standard 50% retracement, but the 50% retracement was a gap. The control bars in here were non-existent. It was just a gap. So that's why I got that range. So where did I get the 8.5 cent regression line? Well, that's just the peak from the previous breakover. If it returns to that, that's where it goes, 8.54 cents, roughly.
I mean, a 1 cent move in this is a 14% is a 14% increase. A one
Yes.
cent move.
Yep. At that current price, yes.
So if you had 10,000 shares, a $700 investment would net $100 profit.
Yep.
That's quite good, really, isn't it?
Yeah, percentage-wise, that's a killing. I mean, you can't get portfolio performance in your managed hedge funds like that. I mean that's the thing. Hedge funds aren't going to touch this, but if they were allowed to day trade this stuff, they would make some pretty impressive performance. But it would also be in sizable pieces that would actually manipulate the price itself. So that's why they don't really mess with it. I mean, anybody can go and get into a big position on something like this. Well, what you consider a big position as a retail trader versus what they consider a big position as a institutional trader, completely different sides of the spectrum. I mean, they're trading millions and millions of dollars. You're trading, hundreds and thousands of dollars. And when it comes to position size on something like this, if you had, a $10,000 account, would you want to control $1,000 worth of this company with your $10,000 account? Hell no. But if you can manage that risk to be within the 3% tolerance that everybody tends to go to for their day trading, it's worth doing. All right, so yeah, we're for the day we're hovering at just under 14%, and if this wedge continues to break out and hold that regression line, it can certainly keep going on. And just like I drew with the bearish regression lines down here on SPY, where I had a regression line within the upper side of this channel, you can do the same for a rising wedge, and we'll make it a fun color to see it.
Those center lines to that, because you've got the megaphone pattern there, and you drew a center line to the megaphone pattern, and now you've drawn another center line to the megaphone pattern. Yeah.
Yep.
Are you doing that by eye?
By eye, and it just
Okay.
stays in the upper half of this range. If it rejects one more time off of this guy, because it's already rejected it twice, I know I can just take my profit and move on. But if it breaks off this regression line and gets through this angular resistance, I know the target's right up here at about 7.7.
I got you. I got you. I'm learning with Jeremy here. I can see it now.
You see the method to my madness. You start to get into the many onion layers of my mind.
Yeah, thank you.
It's kind of a weird thing to go and be, you know, so diverse in trading. I mean, I'm over here. I traded futures for a long time. Well, for a short time this year, but go and trade options spreads on something like SPY. Mess around with Tesla a little bit, mess around with some of the large caps, and then come back to a stock that opened the day, you know, around 6 cents a share, and trade that too. That's diversity.
It's starting to break that lower.
Yep, it broke lower, rejected that line, came through the regression. We'll expect one last push off the 20 period, and then this is going to probably fade and come and retrace that entire rising wedge down to about 7.05 cents.
I just have to wait for a little while.
TradeStation just made angry noises when I logged into it on my phone. I love that sound. Burp, burp. It's like, what are you doing?
Got
Holy
one,
crap.
two. Looks like could be the third push of that 5-minute bear flagging.
Yeah, there's pivot points that keep moving with this for price targets. I think that's going to break over right here because it never quite got to that target. And we're under the descending regression line again. A rejection here will send this for the rest of that measured move. Actually, we've achieved that full measured move already, and then some. This can turn into a three-legger.
What is my phone vibrating for?
Interesting. We got a tweezer bottom there on the 20 period on the COMS. Broke back above the regression line. That's bullish. At some point, someone's going to slap a big sell order into this, though, so just be kind of prepared for a quick gap candle.
What do we
I
have
always
tomorrow?
am.
And we've got
11:30. We have those note auctions.
and we've got a final wedge on our light jump over here. This thing's freaking nuts. Since this is already over with, I'll actually just borrow that line in a moment. But at first, I want to draw another weird one under this bar, on top of that bar, top of that bar. All right, I'm going to borrow this, come down into our wedge. We just broke a new angular right here. There's your target if this gets to be bullish again. And this is just your 3-bar rising channel setup. It's, you know, tried and true. I'm going to extend this line out. There is a regression line here too. Bam. Now we've got tradable price action on that thing. That was psycho this morning. All right, COMS hitting that last push on resistance here. It's got to break that 7.45 cents.
MES is at the 12/19/22 low of day.
Nice. Now we're cooking with Earl. I've got a $2 wide put debit spread on SPY that's starting to take off now. 12/29 expiration, Thursday expiration. That's tomorrow. I'm going to close that thing because it's got a nice percentage return for me. And COMS testing that one more time on the 8 period. God, it's really trying to break that resistance, but that is
I know it's just like put a huge green candle on the 10-second chart.
And this is the other thing Stone and I used to go by. When you get 3 bull flags in a rising channel, usually the third flag will have a high probability of failure. And if it can't break that 7.45 cents with any force, it will likely dump right down to a 50% retracement, which takes us to the second flag support level.
Broken it.
Bam, we're going. People chasing it. And this light jump here, right to the regression line. I mean, that was an easy trade. 22 to 24.50. Perfect. Now people are going to start selling it. That wedge breaks. This is going to be a channel retracement. Probably going to come down to about 1930 support.
Okay.
SPY kind of hanging out here.
All about finding your own groove.
That's it.
Well, my goal is to be as fast as Jeremy one day. It might take me a few years to get there.
I think you've got the talent necessary for it, and I think you're going to be able to exceed me at some point.
Well, everything I've been sending you, I'm testing, and it's doing okay.
There you go.
If this hits 38.18,
yeah.
I'm not saying it will, because I realized that I did my trade thing, but I did it. After I did it, I went, son of a gun, that's the third leg.
Right.
I was like, dang it, I got in wrong. But it was right enough to, get 4 points. So.
That's it.
And my thing is not to be in a hurry at all anymore. I'm going to be a grandpa trader. I trade grandpa style. I trade when I'm ready.
Ooh. They banned TikTok from house members.
Oh, because they're concerned about Chinese infiltration.
Well, yeah.
Duh, they should be.
There's no kidding.
Well, Chinese infiltrated us a long time ago here in America.
Uh-huh.
And nobody's even picked up on it.
Nope.
Those Chinese buffets are designed to get us fat and lazy. I know what they're doing.
So you're blaming your weight on the Chinese. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I'm not blaming my weight on the Chinese.
I'm happy to accept that as an excuse. Yeah, that's fine.
I'm actually, in my age, I'm the lightest I've been most of my life. I'm very content in my 34 waist.
I love cooking Chinese food. It's a lot of fun.
All right, now getting to the mini wedge there in the 5 minute. What I call it, what I say I call, it's a mini wedge.
This is that
when
zone.
Price pushes down and it starts like, are we exhausting here?
Yep.
Let's see. Not a very strong bull candle after that. But it gets back up to that 38.37. Remember I said if in that strategy, and it's a simple strategy, I think. And I think that a lot of newer traders can jump on it because it's that buy high, sell, buy low, sell, whatever it is.
Right.
Using that candle format. But remember I said the other day, you got to get in at the right time. And so I didn't just now. I got in. That's what I said. Third flag, it ain't going to make that. But I got out of it.
Jeremy, Combs is testing the center line of that, the upper center line of that megaphone pattern now. So if it breaks that, the next price pivot I've got is at 08.
I've got, I'll just extend this out. I would say 7.8. 7.8 or 7.9, somewhere in that neighborhood. But we're coming out of that third flag, so this is where you kind of wonder if people are going to start really clipping their profit. But watch the 8 period. The 8 period is going to tell you when to get out of that.
What do you mean the 8 period? I've got the 9 minute.
Yeah, the 8 period moving average. That white line right there. As soon as it breaks that,
Jeremy uses the 8 instead of the 9.
I know that the trend will change, at least briefly.
And he'll corrupt you if you're not careful. He did it to me.
What do you mean? I'm using the 9, not the 8. Same thing though, isn't it?
Well, it's different. It's a little different. The 8. Well, Jeremy finds it. I'm answering your question. Sorry,
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Oh, no worries.
Oh, go on.
No, the 8's smoother.
It's just
Tends
smoother.
to be smoother. And the way I look at it is this way. Jeremy was once Jeremy became the main moderator when everybody's life changed and people moved around. I tend to want to follow somebody, and just like as a musician, I want to learn their style. So I'll do what I have to do to make my equipment sound like theirs, so that I can learn it. So I decided to go to the 8 because Jeremy was always using the 8. So I'm so used to the 8 now, and it makes a lot of sense. And I mean, it's divine to use the 9, but it's great to use the 8.
And I'll
Okay,
show you the subtle difference.
Yeah, it is a subtle difference. And I think Jeremy used the SMA, correct?
Right, just a standard, simple moving average.
I'll go back to my indicators afterwards and modify it. So it's an 8 SMA, yeah?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Let me get out of this trade first, because I think that any minute now this is going to go downwards.
Just for shiggles, I'm going to add a 9. And I'm going to turn it a funky color that I can see better.
See this?
And you can barely
Minute
see
and
it
a half.
differentiate from where I'm at on the 8 period, but I like
But
to
I
see.
bet you that the actual center point of those candles line up better and more accurately on that 8 if you really zoom in, yeah?
Yep, and that's the whole
Yeah,
point.
I
It's
got-
like I
I
want to
get you.
see
I
the
get you.
smoothness of that 8 period.
I kind of get where you're coming from now, Jeremy. I'll sort it out after.
Pretty bearish right now on the 5-minute charts. Got the on MES, we've got the 200 going kind of horizontal. The VWAP is under it. Then we've got the 20, the 15, and the 8. And the 20, 15, and the 8 of my alligator are fanning out. So let's see. This is this could be a little bit of sideways for a little while, or we may even get a 50% retracement. But or pullback. But right now, it's a pretty strong bear trend.
So
Do you know what? I just worked something out. This Comstock is 8 cents. Why am I only buying 1 share? I should be buying like 10.
throw 10 at it. Something, just practice.
That sounds
Yeah.
right. I would do that.
I'm like kind of taking this in a comparison. I know a lot of people who stick to strictly swing trading and they don't like messing with day trading. And their typical price target is going to be about a 4% return. I'm different. So like I'm looking at COMS and swing trading an overnight position on the thing. And I don't like 4%. That's not enough for me. I like 10% at least. And I'm sitting here, looking at a 16% return so far, 16 and a half. And I'm okay with that. I can totally take that. But who in their right mind would swing trade something like this unless they knew something?
I'm out. I'm not swing trading it. I'm just scalping it. But my point is it's 8 cents a share.
Yeah.
I've got $20 to play with. I should be playing with more than 1 share, really.
Yeah, I mean, you could, go with 10. You can even do 20 if you're comfortable with that. totally fine. But I mean, all I knew was that descending channel had a 50% retracement target.
I just tried to get out, but it won't accept my market order. Why won't it let me sell?
It should have. There should have been plenty of liquidity.
Does it tell you? Is it telling you
Well,
anything?
is it good? Is it PR off? What?
When I set a market order, I'll put it in as GTC plus, which means GTC plus, or good till canceled, plus the pre-market and after hours. And it just covers all the bases that way.
It won't let me get out.
Could it be that the order executed and it's not letting you change it?
How would I find that out?
Switch screens to like your P&L or your position chart or position page.
Oh, hold on. I know why. I don't know what just happened there, but let me sell. Oh, I guess it must be out.
Yeah, it might have executed the order before you could go and adapt it. Let's see here, 7.6. Trade. There's one. Bam, done deal.
Nope. See. Talking to myself, as you can tell, maybe.
Cool. Why does it still show me long 200 shares when I don't? Yeah, my order is being kind of weird too.
Are you using Tasty?
I'm trading it in both my TradeStation account and my Robinhood account.
It's a penny sometimes.
Let me see here, positions.
Excuse me, Jeremy. Sorry if I'm asking this because I have been for some times not following you, but I remember over a month ago, you and Stone said it's gonna be a good news, talking to some maybe broker or something for, bullish pair. Anything happened that period of time?
So we had a talk with a large broker, and we decided to not take them up on a partnership because we noticed there's some things happening in other trading communities where if they do or say even one wrong thing while they're beholden to a major brokerage, I mean that just destroys everything instantly. They get doxxed, so to speak. So at this point, we're not going to partner with any major brokerages until we can figure out what we're going to do in the next stage of growing the business here. So the one thing that we've come down to decide is that we love what we're doing and we love the value that we can provide without having any major partners. So to say that was like we don't necessarily need the backing to make this grow. We can just grow this organically, which is how it should be anyway. On the other side, forming these partnerships can be beneficial for our members because we can, get discounts and we can get better commission prices, and in some cases we can get better incentives for signing up with an account via an affiliate link or a partnership of some kind. So we're always kind of looking to be able to do that, and so far probably the best brokerage that we have a partnership with is TradeStation. They have the best offers for our members to be able to get the best discount. So we're kind of sticking with that. So I won't necessarily be able to name the big brokerage that reached out to us, but the fact that they reached out to us is kind of monumental because they're not one of the small time brokerages. It's a big brokerage. And I looked into what they would have to offer our members first and foremost, and in communication with them while I was sitting there talking to them, I realized that they can't and won't compete with what TradeStation is offering us as far as being able to give us better commission rates, a better brokerage to use, much easier brokerage to use for that matter. They didn't tick any of the real boxes that I look for as far as finding value in a good brokerage. So I'm kind of on the fence about that. I can, leave it at just an affiliate thing to where like we can get a little break on the brokerage, fine. But partnering with them in any means beyond that, it just didn't seem to be worthwhile for our members. So that's kind of where we're at on that. That is good, big news, and it was something that was definitely on the horizon for it. It could have easily helped us to grow exponentially, but we're more interested in keeping the value in our group. So that's, in other words, that's a hard maybe. So but yeah, we'll definitely keep you guys in the loop on that. We want to make sure that as a community, we all kind of have a say in that, and that's where the interest is where we would rather see our members benefit most and foremost.
Thank you, Jeremy. Just was curious, but whatever decision Polish Bear is making, I trust them for the interest of all members. So, thank you for giving me update or detail what's going on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for asking. It's kind of something I haven't really hit on in a while. For me, it's like I find myself humbled because I'm literally in a virtual meeting with executives at a major brokerage. I never imagined myself being in that seat. Never. That speaks a lot to me, and that means a lot for what we have here is valuable, and that's why I would like to keep the interest in the value that we provide. It goes right back to that statement, that quote that I shared from that book I just started reading called The Go-Giver. I mean, that's to it in a T, and I'm going to read it again. Your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. And that's
excellent, Jeremy. And to be honest with you, your work and your dedication for the community, any broker company will greatly respect you and have value on their mind about what you're doing. I mean, you're doing a fantastic and great job, Jeremy. I mean, they will love you, I guess, to have you there, to grow their business, because you have really sophisticated mentality about how to trade, how to run a business. I mean, you have great information in every aspect. So definitely they can tell how smart you are. So I guess the honors for them to have you, not for you to be honest with you, because you can break those level higher and higher if you want. But you are so modest, as we talked before.
I mean, it was just for me. It's kind of a shock, and it is humbling to be in that seat talking to these people. And it's not about prestige for me. It's not about wanting to be in that focus. But the very fact that these guys were interested in what I had to say, that's what speaks volumes to me. That they have interest at all in what I have to say. And I talked in great depth about all of the different things that were kind of relevant to them. What any brokerage would be after is one, order flow that generates income. Two, they like having large accounts deposited with them because they earn interest on the swept funds. From a business sense, it makes sense to partner with any way you can to expand your market and bring in more revenue. That's just another revenue generator. But when I started talking to the guy and getting to know what their brokerage strong points are versus the competition, and it came down to getting into an in-depth conversation with different options positions that I trade frequently. And go ahead.
So, sorry, Jeremy. Is TRKA lining up for a retracement, possibly bouncing off the day's low?
I'm kind of thinking it might. I wanted to look further into that.
Okay, all right, I'll line up.
It broke to 50% of this rising wedge here and went down for 100%, so it's interesting here. From there, I don't know if it's going to go and retrace again or not, so I'm kind of watching it. But anyway, getting into a conversation, one thing that sparked a lot of interest in the guy I was talking to, and he was head of the options trading department for that company. And I mentioned one thing that kind of razzled him that he would not expect a guy in my position to say. And I mentioned synthetic long positions and synthetic short positions. It's like, whoa. You just spoke something that speaks to institutional traders there. How would you even be interested in synthetics? I'm like, well, because I know I can generate income from synthetics. That's my focus, is generating income. So, okay, so that put me on a whole new level with this guy, and that's kind of breaking the ice on what my caliber of person is to him. And he started talking to me about, well, let me go back to this. I think you're on the ball here. You kind of understand that you, above anything, want to provide value for your members. And the fact that I go and break into that conversation and then come back to this, he starts talking himself out of it. I'm just like, huh, okay. So kind of interesting, I mean, I get to talk to some pretty interesting people, but I mean, when I go and I'm sitting there just humbled and talking to some high caliber executives at some company, and relating to them on different things, like things that they are very accustomed to in the institutional trading side of the market, and I can meet them at that level. That's where the interest is. That's where I get, just kind of, I let my ego grow a little bit at that moment, but I was able to keep it in check. So
The bottom on a 1 minute.
I see that. A nice
That's
one. Too.
awesome stuff. Hey, Jeremy,
Yeah.
you look at, I don't know, there's a SPY on the 5 minute. I don't know if it looks the same.
Let me throw it up here. Comms is pretty much breaking down for that 50%. So I'm.
Oh yeah, it's enough. It's enough. Okay, 5 minute chart. Look at the 1125, or it might be your 1130 candle. I think yours closest. Is that right? Or it's
Yeah.
either 1125, 1130, 1120. One of the other.
We got Both 1125 and 1130 are dojis,
Uh-huh. Look at them.
and they're under the 8 period.
Look at those dojis. Okay. Remember the doji, friends? What happens after that second doji?
Typically, you get a
It pushed down, didn't it?
push down. There's an evening star, essentially.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
And then we got the retracement coming
That
back
candle,
up.
those little buddies together, they have been popping up, and they have been part of that equation the last couple of days.
Right.
So I pay attention to those little candles, and a bear flag like that. So I knew it was going to give me one push more, so I got it.
Nice work.
I didn't say anything to anybody. You'll see that video soon. I'll make it in the next week or so.
This is that that midday swing we talk about, and this is
Yeah.
what we look for. There's a double bottom.
Yeah.
Retracement targets are 380 and 380 125 respectively. You know, you kind of take it or leave it, but when it comes to this pattern where you get those dojis on the 5-minute chart that speak to you, clean play. You traded the break over to the bear side. You knew where the range was.
Yeah, and I did it that 2-for-1 ratio thing. Now I didn't get the full 2-for-1 ratio right there, because I was impatient, but I got enough. And the earlier I had gotten in on the green hammer on the 5-minute. Let's see, is there a green hammer there? It would have been back at like 11 o'clock. It was the between the two big red bars, and that's where I got mad at myself.
Again, that's some nice work.
And I got mad at myself because I said, "Oh, I got in too soon." Yeah, I think we can get it. We can get folks to where they can. I have to be careful how I say all this. I think the strategy that I'm working on, I'm actually, this has kind of changed for me. It's been a refinement, and this kind of hit me out of left field. So that's why I was checking it out. So we're 16 of 14. All 16 are profitable.
Nice.
14 of them hit the exact target. So this, and it's using that 2-for-1 ratio. It's just very simple, and using the 5-minute to give me my signals, and then I can look at the 1 minute and the 10-second to see if I need to get out of it sooner.
I think this is breaking another bear flag.
Yeah, it should hit like 38.24 on the MES. But if it doesn't, that's okay. It's not going to bother me.
The base pivot's 378.60.
Sometimes you have to stay in that trade for like 30 minutes. It's definitely an intraday swing.
Here's the other piece of this. Remember the diamond?
The diamond. I always remember the diamond. I come look at the diamond J to show me the diamonds.
2-hour diamond. We just broke angular support. And the expected move from there would be down to the 375 pivot. But oftentimes, like I say, these diamonds love to fake one way and rip the other way. And that is very prevalent. If this double bottom actually works out to be bullish, we can go and retrace back to angular resistance here as well. It was previously angular support, which we broke. But if this gets loose and goes into a full-on measured move, which it's already made, the measured move from yesterday to today, but if it goes into the rest of this from here, good Lord, that's a hell of a dive. So I think it'll either this will be a diamond bottom, we get the reversal after this drop, this fake out, breakout, so to speak, and then we run the other way. Or if this breaks as a accumulation of a measured move on the longer time frame here, we could see some serious blood in the water here, guys. Let me zoom out. That 375 is going to be the critical point there, and if it breaks that, dude, it's going to be coitons. Because that'll run all the way down to like 363. Just using my eyeball.
Jeremy,
could
can
be a
you
pullback.
can you take a look on a stock called KALA? It's pharmaceutical.
Sure. That sounds familiar. I think I've traded that one before. Wow, nice breakout.
Yeah, you traded that
Full.
one before, I think.
Full measure move.
240% today. I was stunned, watching it.
No kidding. That's a hell of a move. It's made a full measured move and halted. So from the opening to accumulation, leg 1, leg 2, full measured move, slightly above a full measured move. $13 would have been the measured move. And it halted, so that's incredible. Nice move. They must have had some really good news. We're right at a target on a daily chart for control. That's this accumulation here, roughly the center of it. An extension could take us to about 1435. Let me start plotting the pivots on this thing.
They're talking about FDA approved their application or something. I looked in the morning before the market opened, and it was like $4, and it was hovering around $6. But I did not expect, to go to $13. I mean, how can you tell in something like this is going to happen?
The telltale
Jeremy?
signs will be when right here you got a nice deep, long-term bearish trend, and then it broke above that 8 period again. I love the 8 period. It just came out of its halt. It's going to $16 right now. You come up above that 8 period, that's when you start to watch it, and then this was your signal here for getting in on today's trade. Because this pennant was going to touch that 8 period again and bounce. And then you just look left for your pivot prices to figure out where the targets are. Nice breakout.
I was afraid of dump, at the beginning because it was like less than $4 and open 620. So I said maybe in the first 15 minutes, like I'm following Stone rule, it's gonna be dumped, but it did not. Kept rocketing and halting. As you can see right now, when I was talking to you, it was 13. Now it's $15.
Yep. And there was when I looked at the daily chart and I set that pivot, where does this bar start? Right on top of that pivot. So $16 is the next leg, and there's one up here at $18.15. So you've got tradable price targets, but I mean, can you imagine trying to chase this and then getting burnt because you bought the top?
No way on earth.
Yeah. At this point, I mean, missing the breakout is one thing, but missing it and then trying to jump into the trend on something that's just, I mean, straight up parabolic. That's kind of crazy to do, but I mean, if you control your risk appetite, you can still swing it. And if you throw like 4 or 5 shares at it or something and go for a real quick turn, okay, but I wouldn't throw any size at it.
I was scared even to go when it was $6 when the market opened. Yeah, so I
that was quite
market is strange.
Quite the run. Yeah, that's like that other thing I was looking at. I mean, that thing was, it made 100% move like nothing.
All right. I want you to go back to that 5-minute doji, and I want you to memorize that. I encourage everybody to memorize that. It just did it again, Jeremy.
Nice.
It hit it.
There we go. Finally.
That's like 100% on profit for each one, and 90-something% on hitting the target.
That's awesome. And you were saying last night you were what was it, 13 for 13?
Yeah, we're over that now. We're like 17 for, I think we're 17 for 14. Everything is 100%. Everything takes profit. 14 of them hit the target.
Dude, that's awesome.
And a couple of them hit the target, but I just pulled out quicker. and I got, and I was like, that's what I'm training myself on this right now.
This is how legendary traders are made there, Stone.
Well, it's a simple, I stumbled on this, Jeremy. I literally was sitting here putting everything together that I had been studying and working on and learning, and then putting together everything I had been writing, and trying to get videos together on what I know. And then I hit this by accident. This was a total accident.
That's cool.
But when I noticed these are true signal dojis. These dojis, they're signals, and they have what they call signal candles. So in my quest to just be able to read candles alone, I'm freaking loving it. Thank you for teaching me that everything else was training wheels.
That's just it. It's training wheels.
I'm just looking at it, but when you add pivots and everything else, it just makes it better.
Yeah, it just gives you exact price targets that are, I mean, not even exact. They're relative. So like when you see price running one way or the other, and you start to see momentum fall off, or you start to see the trend exhaust when it gets close to that pivot, you know where it's where the limit is, and you can just take your profit at any point. And the fact that you
Now-
take profit in a high frequency because you know where those pivots are, that's the name of the game. It's going to be that win-loss ratio. And like I take that back to when I was day trading those options positions in the sweet spot on SPY, and just nailing consistent 100, 200, 300% returns on those things over and over and over again with a 98% win rate. That's
Right.
That's where it takes you. You just got to know where the price action is leading, and know where what it's telling you to do.
So we got this was on your 5-minute chart. That's a pretty big red bar at the bottom of a trend there.
Yeah, so it's still got a little gas in the tank, and there's still a regression line down there too. But-
Yeah, it's still got but you could be getting close to exhaustion if it's going to exhaust itself. But you've got some other levels telling us we can go lower, right?
I think so. And I'm looking at it, testing that pivot for resistance now, and that was at 378.60. A rejection here will take this into a certain trend right down to that regression line.
If you get like an inverted hammer on the 5-minute here, like with or even a small red hammer, what's that range? Right now it's 425. Yeah, you can still do it. 3820 is possible on the MES.
Oh yeah.
We've crossed below the 3822 is the low of day, the daily low from the 20th, 8 days ago.
And then here on a 5-second chart, easy. There's your trend lines, rising channel, regression line, rejection, target right to the 50%. Bam, done. Now we're coming
the
into
Globex low of 2023, 1223.
tested angular support or angular resistance, rejected, came back down. This is where you start to see those double bottoms, and
This is a spot.
you can trade them either direction, but the break is where you're going to get in. Even on a 5-second chart.
This is hitting the red zone. Look out.
It rejected that
is it?
pivot. We're at 11:54. 12 o'clock's right around the corner. We're starting to build momentum. If we're going to see a midday swing, this is where the reversal would be spotted, typically in this time frame. But if it breaks this becomes your accumulation for this measured move. And that's a big measured move, man. When we opened the day, we expected this range. That played beautifully, right? And we broke it. So the measured move would be from that low range, low base on that range, down. And we had a full measured move here. And this would be setting up for another 2-leg if this breaks over and remains bearish. Anyway, I'm going to sign off of the YouTube. Thanks for joining us over there, guys. And, I'll answer this real quick. Brandon was saying, or it's a fib retracement level. Yes, I love knowing about fib levels, but I never use them in my chart because I can get the same conclusion looking for essentially the 50% and the 60%, 73, all the fib levels kind of matter. But when you find the key pivots, you don't need to dirty up your chart with those. You can just kind of know where the pivots are and just trade the price action in between from one pivot to the next. So it's really there's 150 ways to skin a cat here, so to speak, and you can come up with whatever system you want as long as it works for you. That's what matters. No two traders are alike with their analysis.
Right.
But when I go and I can see the simplicity of just finding the pivots, finding what the price action is telling me, looking for the patterns, and looking for exactly when the break happens, I'm much more efficient than I would be if I was to also include a bunch of other stuff that I don't need. I don't need a bunch of indicators on my chart. I don't need really anything more than an 8 and a 20 period to trade the way I do. As far as indicators go, I could take everything else off, and oftentimes I can even just trade the candles, just trade naked price action, and start plotting out pivots and mark the patterns, figure out where they're going, regression lines, trend lines, all the angulars play into it. It's all so much easier to just keep it simple than to go and complicate it with something that's going to really distract my focus on what I'm actually trading, and that's just the price action.
Right, Jeremy, I've put my SMA over to an 8 minute. Just a quick question on TRKA. It's got a triple bounce. Triple bounce off the lowest low of the day, and the 8 is about to cross the 20. So I'm going to keep an eye out on it. But can you just take a look and tell me if I'm seeing a good point here for potential reversal? Is that the right word?
Which one was that? Which ticker?
TRKA, Tango Romeo Kilo
That's
Alpha.
right. I had it up earlier.
It's had 3 bear flags now, so I'm wondering, is this like a potential reversal point?
It basically broke that key support at 13 cents, so this can remain bearish for a while. There's no reversal there just
Okay, I'll
yet.
leave it then.
The next support level on that thing is down to like 11 and a half cents, so I would wait until it shows me a true reversal.
What is a true reversal in your eyes?
Well,
Good question.
when you have stuff like a double bottom, you want to make sure it's going to reverse the trend and come up and basically retrace the previous bearish trend. So here I don't see a double bottom yet. I see a potential one. It's starting to form on the 5 minute here. But if I go and look at the 1 minute, it breaks like a bear flag. So there's your L1, there's your L2, there's your H1. If it can't break H1, it's not a double bottom, it's going to be a bear flag. Here's a wick that went right to H1 and rejected, so this is likely to continue being bearish. So it's not a true reversal there. If this were a true reversal, I would see it break R1, hit target 1, and continue to eat up all the control bars in the previous bearish trend.
What's H1? I've never heard you talk about that before.
So when you have a double bottom, you have a low, a high, and a low. And your H1, and I always call it H1 or R1, is your resistance point. So you always take these double bottoms and draw a horizontal line there. And Brandon, I'll get to your question in a moment here. When you hit low 1, there's your H1, there's your L2. H1 is your resistance. If you can't break that resistance and turn it into support, this fails as a double bottom reversal.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for interrupting. Go back. I get what you're saying. Thank you.
No worries at all. No worries at all. And to answer your question there, Brandon, the auto pivots on pretty much most brokerages that I've seen are garbage. They tell you nothing. They're going to go back a fixed amount of candles and tell you what the mean is, and you'd almost be better off with standard deviation channels than you would with pivots. At least the standard deviation channel look back is at a rate that makes sense. You can find the median, you can find, first deviation, second deviation. That's much easier to use than trying to throw auto pivots on your chart. All the horizontal lines you see on my chart, I drew them myself. I look for control areas and I look for areas of interest in price and just draw them myself. Let's see, what's the other part? Yeah, whenever I have a confirmation of a reversal is when I'm going to be interested in it. If I don't have a confirmation of a reversal, I can pretty much, take the trend and continue with whatever direction I was trading in originally, and this has been bearish all day. So here's a potential double bottom on my 5-second chart. The trend's back here. This was accumulation, so this is no longer going to be looked at like a double bottom reversal. This is going to be looked at as something slightly different. This is accumulation, and you've got a little diamond pattern here. So when you draw those diamonds, you always extend the lines out. I'm going to draw a diamond on a 5-second chart. It's going to take me longer to draw it than it's going to take to actually see what the price action is going to do. And let me change that angle a little bit. There we go. So what diamonds tell us is there's a conflict of interest for bulls and bears here, meaning they haven't decided which direction they're going to trade this yet. But when you find these diamonds, as fast as I drew that, it hit the angular support. Bam, diamond broke bearish. But I have the price targets in the pattern already set. And when I draw these on a longer term chart, they're much easier to trade. But on a 5-second chart, you can't draw a diamond fast enough. But if you kind of use your mind's eye and you can have it in one line, there's a trend line right here. There's a trend line right here. That's all you need, just 2 lines. And that thing was clean right to that angular support, man.
Jeremy?
Yeah.
I have to refigure that number. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
I was a little off. It's 18 for 17, all profitable.
Damn, dude, that's a nice streak.
And the reason that it's changed is because I had back tested this. This is live trading now. So a couple of times I got a little concerned it wasn't going to hit my target, so I'd get out profitable. But then as we continued lower, those entries and those ratios, it actually hit the target. So I had to go back and say, yes, I got earlier, but as far as the strategy goes, it's 18 for 17 times that it's actually hit the target. 18 times are profitable. I'm going to go start writing this down soon. I am thrilled. This is for all you. This is for all you old folks like me that got to trade a little slower. You just can't ride as fast as Jeremy, but you can keep up with him. What did I tell you about that green candle on the 5-minute chart?
Oh, yeah.
I said, watch that green candle after that bar. I said, if it closes as an inverted hammer, or maybe it might even close as a small red hammer. I said, either way, if it closes like that, watch that. Watch what happens next.
This went from diamond to channel. Just like that.
I love this. This is great. I found my stride. I'm very happy, and I'm going to share it with everybody because I'm happy. So hopefully everybody can pick up on this. This was an accident. This was a freaking accident.
Best accident you've ever had, baby.
It is. And by the way, we're deep into the red zone that I had from a few weeks ago with the 3803. This is, matter of fact, this is on one of the videos I did on a strategy. 3803.50 is the low of day from 1220. That was actually an entry I took. It's on one of the videos I'm going to be putting out in the next, might be on the one I just did there. Anyway, no, it's actually in the next one I'll be putting out. Yeah, this is really cool. This is really cool, everybody. I'm excited.
Very, very cool.
I hadn't lost the trade yet.
That's awesome. That's where we needed to be, man.
But it's patience. I'm sitting there. I am sitting on my hands. I've had to learn this stuff. I've paid my dues. I've lost some money to learn this stuff. So this is really good. Now I can start putting it in writing, and then mine's elementary. And then once you can get this and start putting Jeremy's, and at the same time learning Jeremy's lines and his diamond patterns, and whoa, the wolf wave, dude, that is the bomb. That is the bomb. We're gonna have some successful traders, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Is that wrong for me to say that?
Nope, not at all.
Am I allowed to say that?
Nope, you can say whatever you like.
Well, good, because this is a combination of a whhole bunch of different stuff in one. So now
you said it
can
yourself.
put it in writing.
You paid your dues. You put it in writing. You are free to speak, sir. That is it exactly.
Well, good. Then wax on, wax off. Bull flags are wax on. Bear flags are wax off.
That's it.
They're freaking awesome. They're the foundation of everything. Where are you getting your trend lines from? You're getting your trend lines from peaks and valleys of bull and bear flags.
Yep.
That's where you're getting your a lot of things, and then, so it's great. This is good stuff, baby.
And then
I want to go dance right now.
And then I'll go and draw them in a way that doesn't make sense to anybody but me. Like this one here, when I drew that, I drew it at the top of this bar and then under these two bars. Why? Because I wanted to know where the halfway point was between this angular resistance and the next price target, which was when this was breaking when I drew that, or about to break when I drew that. I wanted to find the center point because that's the regression line. I wanted to find a target for where this was going to break to. Even though I had it already here, I could have just drew the line here and used that as my angular support. Didn't matter. I needed to find exactly where to plot that sucker on a 50% level, and there it went. Bam, right to it. So when you learn what works for you, that's what's important. And when you can take that and put it in writing,
It's replicable.
exactly, and then you can
That's
teach
exactly part of my grammar. I put it in one of the places on Discord. It's probably Stone's place. I put grammar not included.
it. Yeah, totally acceptable.
I put my notes in there. I put my video, and I basically put my script in there too. So if somebody wants to read along, but they just got to know grammar's not included.
Right. Now this is spoken with a southern drawl. Grammar is not
y'all.
necessary.
Not necessary. It ain't. We mix words up.
That's right.
I'm from Louisiana. We don't say Louisiana here in this part of the state. That's Western Louisiana.
Yeah, I should have drew this with a box instead. There we go.
And one more good thing to be happy about. You know what happens today?
What's that?
We make turkey gumbo.
Oh, hey. I still got some leftover turkey I want to make something good with. Right on. Well, anyway, thanks for joining us, Brandon. If you're still listening, check us out. We're only $47 a month, and dude, the value you get in that is incredible. As Ryan, our friend here, Ryan, said to us before, that's about the price to take a family of 4 to Chick-fil-A, and you get a month of wisdom that you can't get anywhere else. And we'll walk you through it. And better than that, we'll meet you in our voice channel and speak directly and communicate with you. And anyone else who has any questions is free to chime in at any time on our voice channel and just hang out and talk through this. That's what we do. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with us on YouTube, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll keep bringing it. Have a great one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and above all, help us out. Tell your friends. Start spreading the word, because we're going to bring this every day to YouTube that we can, and then the stuff you get on the inside when you get into our Discord server will blow your mind. So, it's worth a try at least.
Jeremy, I don't know if TRKA is starting to trend as a reversal now.